In the last video, I alluded to a couple of Google documents that are already out there on importing your homework calendar into D2L and bringing your D2L calendar into Google. I'm going to do a quick video that demonstrates both of these techniques, and I'm also going to tell you why I prefer and recommend one to the other. So at any rate, here we go. First thing I'm going to do is go to the eClass tool, or D2L if you prefer to call it that. I'm going to go to my sandbox. You would go to your class, and I'm going to go to my calendar. Now, just so that I have something to view, let's create a quick entry here. Now, what I'm first going to show you how to do is how to dynamically bring your D2L calendar into Google so that you could even share it as your homework calendar if you like. The first thing we need to do is go to Settings in our D2L calendar and make sure that Enable Calendar Feeds is checked. You'll notice that this enables an address that can be used to subscribe to a calendar via an iCal feed in much the same way that Google calendars work. So we save that. Okay, as soon as I've enabled that calendar feed, I get this new menu item up here at the top called Subscribe with a little star next to it. If I click on that, it generates a private URL for the calendar, whichever calendar I select. Now, before we go on, we need to select the calendar we want, because by default it lands us with every calendar that has this iCal feed enabled in the county. We don't want all those, we want only ours. So I'm going to go down here and select my sandbox. It generates a new URL. I am going to copy that URL. Once I've copied it, I'm done. I can close that. Now I'm going to go to Google Calendars, and I'm going to go to my other calendars, and I'm going to add a calendar by URL. Now there's a number of ways I could do this. This is probably the fastest and easiest. I'm going to paste that URL in, which is iCal format, and I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make this calendar publicly accessible, meaning I'm going to use Google to publicly share my D2L calendar so that I could then in turn use it, if I so choose, as my homework calendar. So you'll notice as soon as I add the calendar, there are my events that I put. These are straight out of my D2L calendar. As I add things in D2L, they're going to automatically show up here. Now, it doesn't have a very nice name. You'll notice it comes in with the name of my sandbox, which is probably not going to be what I want, so let's change that. Remember, it's now in Google, so I can call it what I want. So I'm going to call it my homework calendar. I'm going to save it. And now I can take that link, just like I would do with any other Google calendar, and I can use this as my homework calendar if I so choose. You could just send me this embed code and I'll put this as your homework calendar. Now, I said this was not a method I would recommend. Why is that? Well, at the end of the 9 weeks for Connections teachers, or the semester for academic teachers, your D2L class is going to go away and you will be working with a new class. So you will need to remember to do this either every semester or every 9 weeks. You will have a new calendar link and a new URL you'll need to create and embed. If that's not a problem for you and it's worth it to always work in D2L and have things automatically update, then I don't have a problem with that. I will change it when you send me the new URL every 9 weeks or semester. Okay. So what method then do I recommend? Well, the initial way I shared to bring your Google Calendar into D2L still remains the way that I recommend, because once you set it, you can truly set it and forget it. So to do that again, we find our homework calendar. In this case, I'll use a training schedule calendar here. We go to our calendar settings, And we scroll down towards the bottom, and we have these iCal buttons, the green buttons. You normally use the HTML button to send me the embed code. We want the iCal information. So I'm going to click out of this iCal button and find this URL. And I'm going to copy that URL. I can also save the file if I want. It will just download to my computer. Now I'm going to go to D2L. In my calendar, I'm going to import events. I'm going to allow everybody in my course offering to see it. And now I need to choose a file. I click on Choose File. I can just paste that URL. This is on the web, but D2L doesn't care. It will go and find it on the web just as well as it would off my computer. I click on Open. And once it's got the file, I click on Import. It created new events on my calendar. I can close it. Now, the one problem with this is that every time you add a number of new events on your homework calendar, you do need to go into D2L and re-import them. It will not re-import old events. It will leave those alone. It will only look for new events, and it will simply add those to your calendar. So I would recommend that you, in Notepad or some other program on your computer, you may want to take that link, so you don't have to do it every time, and just save it. So I'm going to paste that URL into Notepad, and I'm going to save this file as my homework calendar iCal. And I'm just going to save it, how about right on in my documents. Now, when I create those events, I don't have to go back into Google Calendar and get the iCal link. I just open this up again and copy this link and paste it into D2L. But you don't have to completely build a new homework calendar every time your D2L course changes. But either way, you're welcome to use. And the documents I will link below in the YouTube description. I'll link the training documents for both methods.